Picture this. You are sitting in a meeting, bored, half listening. Your phone buzzes in your pocket. You just made $20. You didn't sell anything. You didn't clock in. You didn't do any work at all. Someone on the other side of the world bought a piece of a digital version of Accra, and a line of code paid you your share automatically. But why you? Because you own the ground it sits on. This is not a movie. This is happening today, and it's the newest chapter in a story that is 2,000 years old. A quiet pattern that has decided who holds the wealth of the world over and over again. Today, we follow that pattern from the old Silk Roads to the spice ships of the 1500s to a moment our people are living through right now. By the end, you will see one simple truth. The people who win almost never build a product. They own the road. And we are going to look at how the diaspora can own a piece of the new map. Let's go back. Sankofa. We look behind us so we can move forward. The historian Peter Frankopan wrote that the Silk Roads were never one road. They were the nervous system of the world, a web of paths carrying goods, people, and ideas from China all the way to the sea. Here's the thing about the old empires. They didn't get rich because they had the best farmers. They got rich because they controlled the flow. Over 2,000 years, the Han Dynasty in China pushed west and figured out a simple rule. If you want to be rich, you tax the people and goods passing through your land. You don't have to weave the silk. You just have to own the gates they walk through. So we already have two kinds of people, the builder and the landlord. The builder does the work, he carries the load, he takes the risk. The landlord just owns the layer that everyone is forced to use, and the landlord wins every single time. The Islamic empires mastered this. They linked the trade routes of the Middle East, and cities like Baghdad became the richest on earth. Parks, markets, hospitals, all paid for by flow of trade moving through. Even the Mongols learned it. In the 1300s, they made the roads safe, and trade exploded. A traveler named Ibn Battuta said, a person could ride for 9 months across China, carrying great wealth, and have nothing to fear. Make the road, make it safe, tax the road. That was the whole game. Then the game moved to the water. If the Silk Roads were the veins of the world, the narrow sea passages were its throat. In the book, A Splendid Exchange, the historian William Bernstein tells us how a hunger for spices rewired global trade. Nutmeg, cloves, pepper. In the Middle Ages, these were not just food, they were status. The way some people see a luxury car today, the way people see a Rolls Royce, that is how they saw a sack of pepper. But there was a problem for Europe. They didn't control the route. Muslim traders held the roads in the east, and the city of Venice held the doorway into Europe. The Venetians didn't grow a single spice. They just sat in the middle and got unbelievably rich. So the Europeans went looking for a way around. Vasco da Gama sailed around Africa to skip the middlemen. And let us be clear about why. They didn't want to peacefully grow their own spice. They wanted to become the new landlords. A Portuguese writer named Tomé Pires said it plainly in the 1500s. Whoever is the Lord of Malacca, he wrote, has his hand on the throat of Venice. That is the whole strategy in one line. Find the narrow point that everything must pass through, then hold it. By the 1600s, the Dutch had turned this idea into a machine. They built the Dutch East India Company. They invented a new way to pull money from many investors at once, raised their fortune, and took over the spice trade by force. The author Frimpong Ampadu calls this the infrastructure principle. For hundreds of years, the biggest money never went to the people doing the work. It went to the people who owned the pipes, the ports, the railways, the trading companies. Rockefeller did the same thing with oil in the 1800s. He did not drill it. He owned the pipelines it had to flow through. But this story has a dark side. While Europe got rich owning the roads, the people who actually lived where the wealth came from were locked out on purpose. In 1884, 14 European powers sat around the table in Berlin and drew lines on a map of Africa. They didn't plan to mine the gold themselves. They wanted to own the systems, the taxes, the ports, so they could take a cut of everything that left the continent. No African was invited into that room. And for the next 100 years, the wealth flowed out, building up London, Paris, and Brussels. So here's the question that changes everything. What if we flip the script? What if the people we were always extracted from could become the landlords this time? That is the idea behind the new Scramble. Ampadu argues that we are living through a new 1884, a new moment of lines being drawn. But this time, the land is not soil, it is digital territory. Platforms like FMEDA are laying a permanent digital layer directly over real cities. And I want to be careful here. This is not about buying a cartoon house in a game. It's about holding a gate, a choke point. Now, think about a city like Lagos, or Cancun, or Accra, Nairobi. If you hold the governance rights to that digital territory, the code is written so that you earn a small share of the economic activity that runs through it. Someone sells virtual fashion, you earn a slice. Someone books a virtual heritage tour, you earn a slice. You do not build the experiences. You do not hire the staff. Same as the hand gate, same as Venice, same as the Dutch. You are the road. You let other people take the risk and you hold the tow. Here's the part that I cannot stop thinking about, the inversion. For the first time, the African diaspora may hold a real advantage over Wall Street. You see, the giants funds, they have billions of dollars. But big money moves slow. It waits. It does not touch a new thing until the data is perfect and the crowd has already arrived. But by the time the crowd arrives, the cheap ground is gone. We are early. The lines are being drawn now. And while the slow money waits on the side, ordinary diaspora people can step in. Ampadu says we hold three advantages the funds simply do not have. And I want to say them in plain words. 1. We know the things they don't. You know your home. You know which corner of Accra matters. Which streets in Lagos has the energy. Wall Street only sees a spreadsheet. 2. We can open doors they cannot. You can message your cousin in Nairobi or your friend in London and bring real people in. This is a Nobwa. We pool our efforts. We work each other's fields. We rise together. A fund cannot fake that. 3. People trust us in ways they never will. When you invite an African artist to show their work in your digital city, you are offering them respect and a global stage. A fund offers them a code contract. If we position ourselves now, we can own the cultural pipelines of the future. Picture our art, our fashion, our music, reaching millions of people in digital Cancun or digital Tokyo. And when the world pays to feel that culture, the toll doesn't flow to a stranger in Silicon Valley. It flows back to us. It stays in the community. Now, let me be straight with you because you deserve it. Is this a sure thing? No. New technology always carries risk. Platforms can fail, prices can fall. Nobody can promise you that buzz in your pocket. If anyone tells you a thing like this is guaranteed, run. So do not bet the rent. Learn first. Start small. Understand what you are holding before you hold it. But also remember what the history taught us. The winners were never the ones who waited for the world to feel safe. The Dutch did not wait for everyone to agree that nutmeg mattered. They secured the island first. We can keep paying rent on someone else's platform forever, or we can look at 2,000 years of pattern and decide to own the ground under our own culture. See, history doesn't reward the people who work the hardest. It rewards the people who see the shape of things early and then move with patience and conviction. We have been the builders for a long time. Maybe it's our turn to hold the road. If you want to see the world differently, read The Silk Roads by Peter Frankopan, A Splendid Exchange by William Bernstein, and the book written for this exact moment, The New Scramble by Frimpong Ampadu. Ayiko for making it this far. Stay curious, stay building, and I'll see you on the next one.